Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, February the 19th, and we're seeing really the same rhetoric about tariffs and all kinds of other nonsense going on right now as the narrative. We've got the three U.S. indices in the red going into the open. We're about 5 minutes out from the open. If we take a look at the Yahoo Finance app, starting at the top here, looking across the top, you can see that crude is up almost $1, close to $73 a barrel for crude futures. So that's an interesting turn. It's been bouncing in between, call it 70 and 75 for the last month and a half or so. As we scroll over, we have the VIX up close to 16, so that's not great. We want to see that coming down. We had a good day yesterday for the NASDAQ overall, but today it looks like we've got a lot of things in the red. Health and retail staying away from this. We've got Walmart reporting this week. We've got Walmart coming out tomorrow with earnings. Be interested to see what happens there, but more interested in their future forecast, especially with these pending tariffs and potential cost increases. We also have Home Depot coming out in the next week or so, and so that'll be an interesting one. I do like Home Depot down around 400, maybe even if it dips below 400 today, I might consider taking a look at that and adding a little bit of that to the portfolio. If we go down to oil, oil is in the green for the most part today. So we had a positive day in oil yesterday. It looks like today, with crude being up, could be another positive day for most of those. Yesterday was pretty good for tech, but today, most of the tech stocks that we look at are in the red. A bit of a mixed bag, but most of them are in the red. Texas Instruments has started to make a little bit of a comeback here. So this one got hit on earnings a couple weeks ago and dipped down into the 179s. It's now up at 186. It looks like it's up another 274 in the pre-market. If it does that, it's going to get back to the 190s. That could be very similar, or a similar trajectory to what we could see for Applied Materials. And Applied Materials is still trading at a bit of a discount based on its fall after earnings. A similar situation to Texas Instruments. So I would look at Applied Materials. It climbed a little bit yesterday, almost $3, up from 169 to 172. If it takes or follows the same pattern that Texas Instruments is following right now, you might have the ability to see that get up another 10 to 12 bucks. That's Applied Materials. NVDA had an okay day yesterday. It ended up being up at the start and then trading down. Never into the red, but just losing a lot of its steam throughout the day. We've got NVIDIA with earnings coming up. They're, I believe, coming up next week. So we should be in for some interesting data there. That's NVDL, so you're not going to see the earnings on that. It'll be on the ticker itself for NVIDIA. So we'll be watching that closely. That's going to be a market mover for sure. Micron's making a bit of a comeback, had a great day yesterday, getting up to close to 107, off a little in the pre-market, but I expect that this stock, which reports, I think, on the 6th of March, well, maybe a little later than that, is going to do very well with earnings, and especially if NVIDIA does well, I think Micron should follow. And then we scrolling down just to take a look at any big kind of odd movers or folks that are making big moves here outside of the norm. Not a ton jumping out here in the tech space. At this point, we do have Netflix down, but it's $1,000 stock, so being off $5. Meta down again, down for its first negative day or red day after, I think it was 20 days of being up and in the green. So that's clawing back a little bit. That was an expected correction there. Tesla's still coming down. So this is another one that I think has further to go, especially when we start to hear any kind of production numbers and sales numbers coming out of Tesla. Alibaba announces tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting to hear about this. I don't think the Chinese economy is firing on all cylinders yet. They've still got real estate sector issues, which are creating an issue with the economy over there. They've lowered rates. It still hasn't helped with that. It did temporarily, but it hasn't in the long term. And they've just announced, well, not really announced, but they had an event where their president met with a bunch of senior tech leaders and seems to be in support of them again, which he wasn't back in 2020. So a lot of changes there in that Chinese administration in terms of mindset. So we'll see how that affects the stock. Alibaba definitely set to be a big AI player in that sector. So we'll see what happens. NVDA up slightly there this morning. I think Google's a steal at 185. I bought into some Google yesterday at 184, and I expect that stock will do very well over the remainder of the year. And then TSM down at the low 200s, I think is pretty attractive. I think with all the talks of what's going on with Intel and the possible selling of different components of Intel, TSM being maybe a purchaser of that as well as Broadcom and others, I think there's potential there. But TSM just making all the chips from most of the companies that are designing those. I think it's just got to do well going forward in the market that we're in. And then we get down into finance, and finance is doing okay. I mean, yesterday for the most part mixed bag, but had a pretty good day. And Goldman was up $11, getting close to $700 a share. Hard to believe there. I just don't know how sustainable it is with prices at this range. I mean, we're seeing price to earnings ratios increasing. I know they're talking about deregulation and a number of other areas, but they're really going to have to knock it out of the park with earnings to not see these stocks fall when we get into the April earnings for Q2. So that's where we are today. Good luck with your trades. And if you're liking these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button.